Hello, my sleepy friends of Middle Earth. I hope you had an amazing day. Tonight, we are in the company of a guardian of the forest, a being both joyful and wise, Tom Bombadil. His stories will flow through the trees like a calming melody, bringing a sense of peace and wonder. So settle in, feel the magic around you, and let the tale unfold as if the pages of a well-loved book are turning. Now, come closer and find a place of comfort, whether by the warmth of your own home or resting under the endless night sky. Tonight, we begin, not on a hurried journey, but on a path full of ancient stories and whispered secrets shared by the gentle breeze. We are welcomed into the heart of the old forest, where the leaves whisper tales as old as time, and the waters hum with melodies that only a few can still hear. If this journey brings you joy and serenity, consider joining our circle. Your support keeps these stories alive and allows our group of listeners to grow. Also, let me know from where you are listening and what time it is for you. Now, let's step softly into this world of enchantment. The old forest stands ancient and wise, a realm where even the gentlest breezes tread with respect. The towering trees sway with a timeless grace, sharing secrets of ages long past, their leaves murmuring softly. The air is filled with the scents of moss and wildflowers, while the moonlight filters through the thick branches, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. Mist weaves through the ancient roots, curling and drifting like a living spirit. Nearby, a stream murmurs as it flows over smooth, worn stones, its tune clear and calming, blending with the quiet of the night. Fireflies drift lazily in the twilight, their golden glow flickering like stars brought down to dance among the trees. From somewhere within the forest, the gentle call of an owl echoes, a watcher of the night, adding to the serenity that surrounds you. Here, magic isn't something grand or loud. It's a quiet beauty, woven into every rustle of the leaves, every ripple of the water, and every gentle breath of the mist. The old forest welcomes you, offering a world where time slows, inviting you to wander and dream beneath its watchful branches. In the heart of this magical forest lives a figure unlike any other in Middle-earth, Tom Bombadil. He is both a mystery and a delight, a being filled with joy and wisdom. Tom is neither tall nor imposing, yet his presence fills the forest with a warmth that even the night's chill cannot diminish. His coat is bright blue, and atop his head sits a tall feathered hat that seems to shimmer under the starlight. His laughter rings through the woods like a cheerful song, lifting the spirits of all who hear it. while his eyes sparkle with a playful wisdom. Beside him, graceful as a river's flow, is Goldberry, the river daughter. Her golden hair flows like sunlight on water, and her eyes shine with the deep mysteries of rivers and rain. She moves with the elegance of a stream, her laughter as soft as a ripple in the water. Goldberry's presence is gentle yet strong, her care for the forest evident in every glance and every smile she shares with the land. And then there is you, the listener, a traveler invited into this world of wonder and song. Though you may feel small among the towering trees and ancient beings, Tom's laughter and Goldberry's calm smile remind you that here you belong. As the journey unfolds, you feel yourself drawn into their tales, becoming a part of the story, connected to the forest and its mysteries. It was a quiet, moonlit evening in the old forest when Tom Bombadil, humming one of his carefree tunes, paused beside the brook that flowed through the roots of an ancient willow. The forest, usually in tune with his joyful song, seemed oddly silent, as if holding its breath. Tom tilted his head, his lively eyes narrowing with an expression of curiosity. From deep within the woods, a faint whisper traveled through the leaves, a sound that spoke of worry and old lingering sadness. Tom's cheerful demeanor softened into something more thoughtful. Though he loved to sing and laugh, he understood that the forest held secrets both joyful and sorrowful. The whisper came again, clearer this time, and Tom knew it came from none other than Old Man Willow, the oldest tree of the forest, whose roots stretched deep and wide. Old Man Willow, usually silent and unmoved, was now calling out in distress, a tremor passing through the very earth beneath his ancient boughs. Tom straightened his tall hat, his expression one of quiet resolve. But before he could take another step, Goldberry appeared by his side. Her presence was like the calm flow of a river, her golden hair gleaming under the moonlight. Her eyes, usually warm and bright, held a glimmer of concern. "The forest feels uneasy tonight," she murmured, her voice soft yet steady. "There is something stirring in the shadows, something that troubles even the oldest trees." Tom nodded, his face calm but resolute. My river daughter, the trees are unsettled. We must find the source of this unrest and see it set right." With that, he turned his gaze toward you, the listener, who had been observing this exchange with a mix of awe and curiosity. A playful smile tugged at the corner of Tom's mouth, inviting you into this adventure. "Well now, dear traveler," he said, "it seems we have a task ahead. And what's a good story without friends to share it with?" A spark of excitement mixed with a touch of unease flickered in your heart as the forest's mysterious enchantment wrapped around you. Tom reached out a reassuring hand, his voice carrying warmth and encouragement. "Fear not, for I know these woods well, and no shadow will catch us unawares. Stay close, keep your spirit steady, and let us see what tales this night holds." Goldberry's gaze softened, and she added, "Remember, even the deepest shadows can be met with a steady heart and an open mind. Together, we shall bring light where it is needed." Her words filled you with a sense of belonging, as if you were no longer just a visitor, but a part of this magical realm. And so, with the call to adventure ringing in your heart, you followed Tom and Goldberry deeper into the heart of the old forest. The trees seem to whisper as you pass, their voices rising in ancient tones, and the brook's song shifts to a tune both curious and cautious. What lies ahead is unknown, but with Tom's laughter and Goldberry's quiet strength guiding the way, you feel ready to face whatever mystery may come, a companion on a journey woven from courage, wonder, and magic. The old forest seemed to deepen as you ventured further, with Tom Bombadil leading the way, his steps light and his hat bobbing merrily. The towering trees, ancient and wise, stood like sentinels watching over the path, their twisted roots and sprawling branches weaving a canopy that filtered the moonlight into delicate threads of silver on the forest floor. Tom's voice drifted through the woods, singing a melody as old as the trees, full of mystery and joy, lifting the spirits of all who heard it. Every so often, Tom would pause, tapping his foot thoughtfully, listening to the subtle hum of the forest. "These woods have their own secrets," he would say with a playful smile. "But fear not, dear traveler, for they are good friends of mine." His words were comforting, yet you couldn't shake the feeling that the old forest held depths of knowledge far beyond any tale you had ever known. Even the wind seemed to carry the voices of ages past, rustling through the branches in a language only the oldest spirits could comprehend. As the path twisted and turned, you found yourself passing through groves where the air was rich with the scent of wild herbs and damp earth. Moss blanketed the ground beneath your feet, softening your steps, and the gentle sound of the brook was never far, its melody blending harmoniously with Tom's cheerful tune. Fireflies danced in the shadows, their golden lights flickering like tiny stars, filling the night with a quiet beauty that made you feel as though you were wandering through a dream. Goldberry, moving gracefully beside you, seemed almost to float over the mossy ground, her golden hair gleaming like sunlight through morning mist. She turned to you with a soft smile, her gaze knowing and gentle. "The forest holds many stories," she said, her voice a soothing whisper. Even the smallest creature has a tale. If you listen closely enough, you found yourself enchanted by her words. And just then, a pair of curious eyes peered out from under a leafy fern. It was a hedgehog, small and spiky, watching you with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Tom tipped his ear to the creature, and with a small nod, the hedgehog scampered back into the underbrush. There now, Tom chuckled. Even the hedgehogs know when to greet their friends. The journey continued, leading you to a clearing bathed in soft moonlight. For a moment, all seemed peaceful, the world wrapped in the calm of night. But then, a rustling broke the silence, and you felt a prickle of unease. Tom's song faded, and Goldberry lifted a hand, her expression focused and serene. From the shadows emerged two figures, cloaked in brown, carrying satchels that clinked with the sound of glass and metal. As they stepped closer, you recognized them as hobbits. "Peace, friends," one of them called, his voice warm but cautious. His round face, framed by curly hair, wore a look of worry, though his eyes were friendly. "Hob Hayward, at your service," he introduced himself with a small bow. "And this here is my brother, Moss." Moss, the quieter of the two, gave a shy nod, his hands gripping a pouch of herbs tightly. Tom's laughter rang out in welcome. "Ah, the Hayward brothers. What brings you so far on a night like this?" Hob sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Strange times, Tom. There's talk of shadows moving where shadows ought not, and whispers in the wind that speak of trouble brewing." His voice lowered, barely a whisper. Old Man Willow himself seemed uneasy, and we thought to gather herbs for a bit of protection. Goldberry knelt down, her presence as soothing as a gentle stream, and placed a comforting hand on Hob's shoulder. "Fear not," she said, her voice flowing like water over smooth stones. "We walk with care, and the forest watches over those who walk with respect." The hobbits nodded, visibly comforted by her words, though Moss still cast a wary glance over his shoulder. Yet, despite the reassurance, you could feel the tension in the air, a quiet reminder that something watched from the depths of the forest. Sensing your unease, Tom broke the spell with a cheerful tune, his voice lifting the spirits of all around him. Come now. No shadows shall dampen our spirits tonight. Tom will see to that." With a merry laugh, he continued forward, his song once again a guiding light through the woods. The forest seemed to soften in response to his melody, and the shadows receded just a little, as if giving way to his cheerful presence. Yet the deeper you traveled, the more the forest seemed to change. The trees grew closer together, their trunks twisted with age, and the brook had turned into a small, winding river. Mist began to rise, curling around your feet, cool and damp, and the whispers of the forest grew louder, ancient voices mingling in a language you almost understood. With each step, the night grew deeper, the magic of Middle-earth thick in the air, and though unease lingered, the journey had become a dance between wonder and mystery. You pressed on, your heart racing with both fear and excitement, trusting in the companionship of Tom, Goldberry, and the Hayward brothers. This was Middle-earth, a place where courage, friendship, and enchantment walked hand in hand, and though the path ahead remained uncertain, you felt ready to face whatever awaited you in the heart of the old forest. The deeper you ventured into the old forest, the more the air seemed to change. The playful whispers of the leaves had softened to low murmurs, as though the woods were holding a council in hushed, secretive tones. The river's song grew sharper, flowing with an energy that was both captivating and uneasy. Shadows thickened around you, stretching and weaving through the ancient trees like silent guardians of some hidden truth. Tom Bombadil's cheerful song had grown quieter, a gentle hum that seemed to soothe the restless spirits of the forest, but could not banish the growing unease. He paused every so often, tapping his boot thoughtfully on the ground. "There are old forces here tonight," he murmured, his voice still light but tinged with caution. "Forces that have slumbered long and are now stirring." Goldberry, her serene presence like a gentle light amidst the shadows, raised her hand, a faint glow surrounding her as she listened closely to the forest's heartbeat. Her eyes held a steady calm, yet there was a seriousness to her expression. "There is something here," she said, her voice steady but with a touch of sorrow. "An old sadness, deep as the roots of these trees." The Hayward brothers, who had been walking a few steps behind, exchanged uneasy glances. Moss clutched his satchel tighter, while Hop whispered, "I've never felt the forest so alive, yet so uneasy." His voice wavered, though he tried to mask his fear with a faint smile. Even seasoned wanderers could sense when the air had shifted into something unknown. Just then, the ground beneath gave a gentle tremble, a shiver that pulsed through the earth and made your heart skip a beat. The trees seemed to draw closer, their ancient limbs bending toward you as if they, too, were watching. From somewhere ahead, a low, mournful wail echoed through the mist, carrying with it a chill that crept down your spine. It was a sound full of unspoken grief, a call that seemed to reach out from the shadows. Tom Bombadil's usual lightheartedness was gone, replaced by a quiet intensity as he listened to the wail. "Old Man Willow," he murmured, his voice a mix of caution and determination. "He has felt this sadness longer than we can imagine." He looked to you, his eyes filled with a rare seriousness. "Stay close, friends. The forest is restless, but together we can walk through its shadows. Goldberry moved forward, her light pulsing gently as she murmured words in the language of the rivers and forests. Her voice a soothing melody that calmed the restless mist. Her presence felt like a shield, pushing back against the darker edges of the woods. The Hayward brothers huddled close, their bravery now tempered with caution, their trust in Tom and Goldberry evident, but their worry still lingering. As the mournful cry drifted through the air once more, you noticed a shadowy figure moving among the trees, a large, twisted form with limbs like roots and eyes that glowed with an unnatural greenish light. It moved with a sorrowful slowness, as if burdened by a grief too heavy to bear. Even the forest itself seemed to sigh under the weight of its presence, the branches groaning in sympathy. Tom stepped forward, his gaze steady, his voice calm. Now, Old Man Willow," he said, his tone a gentle reprimand. "We walk with respect, and we mean no harm. Let us pass through in peace." The shadow paused, its greenish eyes flickering, and for a moment it seemed to listen. The tension hung thick, wrapping around you like a heavy mist. Yet with Tom and Goldberry's presence, a fragile sense of safety remained. Goldberry cast a reassuring glance in your direction, her words soft but filled with warmth. "Remember, even the deepest shadows hold some light. Stay close to that light." And so, with Tom's steady song and Goldberry's calm light guiding you, you took a step forward, your heartbeat steadying as you followed them deeper into the forest. The trees no longer felt like silent watchers, but rather like guardians, holding secrets that were waiting for the right moment to be shared. You could feel the ancient spirit's sorrow, yet within that sorrow was a hint of hope, a reminder that even the oldest sadness could be softened by courage and companionship. The old forest seemed to hum with a quiet intensity, every tree, root, and shadow drawing closer, as though the land itself held its breath. The spirit that had haunted these woods now emerged fully from the darkness, a towering figure draped in sorrow and ancient anger, its limbs twisted like the roots of ancient oaks, and its eyes glowed with an eerie green light, casting a ghostly glow across the clearing. It let out a deep, mournful moan, echoing through the woods, its cry resonating with loss, so profound it made your heart ache. Tom Bombadil stepped forward, his normally cheerful expression now transformed into one of firm resolve. The ever-present smile was there, but it was tinged with a seriousness that reminded you of his deep connection to this land. Whom?" Tom called, his voice echoing through the glade with surprising strength. "Old Man Willow, your sadness need not bring darkness to the forest. We walk in peace, with friends who seek only to bring light." The spirit's form wavered, the greenish glow in its eyes flickering. but the grief in them remained, mingling with a fierce anger. Tom's song shifted, the melody now both soothing and commanding, as if he were speaking to the forest itself, calming it with his voice. The trees, which had leaned forward as though filled with suspicion, seemed to listen, their branches relaxing slightly, and the mist thinned, swirling gently as Tom's words filled the clearing. But Old Man Willow's sorrow was not so easily dispelled. The spirit let out another wail, and this time the earth trembled beneath your feet. Roots began to rise from the ground, twisting and curling around your ankles as if they had a mind of their own. The air thickened with tension, and the Hayward brothers clung to each other, their faces pale with fear. Your own heart pounded as you fought to stay calm, your breath coming in quick, shallow gasps. Goldberry, her face as serene as ever, stepped forward, her hands raised as a soft light began to emanate from her, illuminating the twisted branches and roots around her. "Old spirit of the woods," she called out, her voice as gentle as a river. "Once you were a guardian of life and growth. Let go of this anger and let peace return to these woods." The spirit's green eyes met hers, and for a fleeting moment, the light in them dimmed. It seemed almost hesitant, caught between its deep sorrow and a longing for something gentler. Yet the weight of its grief still held sway, and the darkness lingered in the air, wrapping around you like a heavy shroud. You stood, uncertain, feeling both fear and a strange sense of compassion for the ancient being. But Tom turned to you, his eyes filled with a spark of encouragement. "Ah, dear friend," he said, his voice warm even in the face of the spirit's anger. "Every tale needs a bit of courage, and perhaps you have more to offer than you know." He gestured toward the talisman that Goldberry held, a charm woven with river magic and the essence of the forest. "Take heart and remember that even the smallest light can push back the darkness." Though your hands trembled, you took a steadying breath and stepped forward, reaching for the talisman that glowed faintly in Goldberry's hand. She placed it gently in your palm, her touch cool and comforting. As you held the charm, you felt a warmth spread through your body, filling you with a quiet strength you hadn't known you possessed. You raised the talisman high, and a soft golden light blossomed from it, casting a gentle warmth into the dark. The spirit recoiled, its form flickering as it shielded its face from the light. Yet in its hesitation, you sensed something more, a deep, aching loneliness, a longing for peace that had been buried beneath centuries of sorrow. With a courage you hadn't known you held, you spoke to the spirit, your voice steady. "Old One, we honor your pain, but there is still beauty in this world, still life worth protecting. Let go of this anger and let the forest find peace again." The spirit's eyes locked onto yours, and for a moment you saw the flicker of something other than sorrow. Slowly, the green light in its eyes began to soften, and the twisted, root-like limbs that had held you in place started to ease back into the earth. The roots around your feet loosened, and the mist seemed to lift, revealing a glimpse of the starlit sky above. The spirit sighed, a long, weary sound, as though it were releasing centuries of grief. Tom Bombadil's laughter rang out, a triumphant, joyful sound that broke the silence. "There now," he cheered, clapping his hands. "See there, Old Man Willow. Even the deepest shadows can find peace when met with courage and kindness." He turned to you, his eyes filled with pride. "You've done a great deed tonight, traveler. The old forest will remember this, and so will Tom." Goldberry's smile was radiant, her golden hair gleaming like sunlight on water. "You have brought balance back to this place," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "The forest thanks you, and so do we." The spirit, now a faint, shadowy figure, gave a final nod before retreating into the earth, where it could rest at last. The forest seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief, the air filling with the scent of wildflowers as the brook resumed its gentle song. The ground beneath you felt warm and steady once more, and a sense of calm settled over the glade. The climax had passed, but the magic of the moment lingered, a reminder that even the oldest sorrows could be met with compassion, courage, and the light of hope. You felt the gratitude of the forest, a quiet hum in the air, and you knew that tonight you had become a part of Middle-earth's timeless story. The old forest slowly relaxed, settling into a peaceful silence, as though it had exhaled a long-held breath. The tension that had filled the air moments before had lifted, replaced by a calm that spread through the trees and seeped into the earth itself. The mist that had wound its way between the roots began to dissipate, revealing patches of starlit sky above. The brook, which had mirrored the forest's unrest, resumed its gentle, joyful song, winding its way through moss-covered stones and ancient roots, as if to thank you for restoring harmony. Tom Bombadil clapped his hands together, a wide grin spreading across his face, his eyes twinkling with pride and joy. "Ah, there you have it," he said, his voice ringing with a triumphant warmth. "Old Man Willow will sleep soundly tonight, and the forest will grow stronger, thanks to the courage of friends both old and new." Goldberry approached, her golden hair glimmering softly in the moonlight as she took your hands. Her touch was cool and gentle, like a fresh stream flowing over stones on a summer's day. "You have brought peace to the old forest," she said, her voice as soothing as the river. "Magic here is wild, but it remembers acts of kindness. Your light will linger in this place, even as you continue your journey beyond these woods. The Hayward brothers, who had watched with wide eyes, finally relaxed, their fear melting away into awe and relief. Hop Hayward let out a hearty laugh, his round face flushed with a newfound courage. "Well, I never thought I'd see Old Man Willow settle so peacefully," he said, shaking his head in disbelief. Moss, his younger brother, managed a shy but grateful smile, his hands now steady as he tucked his herb pouch back into place. As the moon climbed higher into the sky, Tom began to sing once more, his tune playful and full of life. The trees swayed gently in rhythm to his melody, and even the shadows seemed to join in, no longer menacing but light and full of warmth. Come now, Tom called, his laughter ringing out like a bell. The night is still young, and there's joy yet to share. Let's return to our home, where Goldberry's table awaits us with all manner of delights. The path that had seemed so mysterious and foreboding now felt welcoming, as though the forest itself were guiding you, gently urging you forward. Fireflies floated alongside, their golden glow lighting the way, and the night air was softened by the warmth of your companion's presence. Tom led the way, his bright blue coat and feathered hat bobbing cheerfully, and Goldberry walked beside you, her smile warm and inviting. You felt a profound sense of gratitude for the land around you, for the magic that pulsed through every leaf and stone, and for the courage you had found within yourself. This forest, wild and full of wonder, had become a part of you, and you knew its quiet magic would stay with you wherever your path might lead. As you crossed a small wooden bridge over the brook, Goldberry paused beside you, her gaze thoughtful and kind. "Remember, traveler," she said softly, "that courage and kindness are the truest forms of light. Tonight, you were both brave and gentle, and the forest will not forget." Her words settled in your heart, seeds that you knew would grow into something strong and beautiful. The journey had been filled with trials and wonder, and you realized that even in the face of mystery and fear, there was always room for hope, for laughter, and for the quiet magic of Middle-earth. And so our journey through the heart of the old forest comes to a gentle close. You have braved shadows, shared in the laughter of Tom Bombadil, and found peace in the serenity of Goldberry's presence. Here, under the quiet sky of Middle-earth, we discovered that even the deepest mysteries can be met with courage and kindness. Thank you for joining this tale and lending your spirit to a world woven with wonder and strength. May the magic of these stories stay with you, offering you moments of calm and inspiration, even beyond this night. If you found comfort and joy in this journey, consider being a part of our circle. Your support keeps these stories alive and welcomes others into the magic. Until we meet again, with new songs and legends to share, may your path be ever guided by quiet wonder, and your heart kept warm by the friendships made here. Farewell, dear friend, and remember, more tales await just beyond the next whisper of the trees.